Okay, great. Hi, welcome everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Public Board of Education meeting. Today, Monday, March 24th, 2025. Tonight, the board met in executive session here at Jefferson Elementary School, 85 Prospect Street at 6 o'clock p.m. The purpose of that meeting was to discuss personnel, litigation, miscellaneous, and old business matters. That meeting has been advertised and is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting to which the public has been invited. Tonight, the Board of Education public conference meeting is taking place at 7:03 p.m. here in the multi-purpose room at Jefferson School. The Board of Education meeting is being streamed live, but all community questions and comments will be welcomed here in person only. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting is also in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, the Star Ledger in Newark, New Jersey, and Tap Into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education Business Office, located in the Harrison School Building, Gray Street, West Caldwell, and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and the Township of West Caldwell for posting. That being said, Brian, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Student Representative Josiah Zaki. Here. Ms. DeMartini.
Here.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson.
Here.
Ms. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Diambola.
Here.
Ms. Grosso.
Here.
So we have 5 voting members present. We have a quorum.
Fantastic. So I believe, and please forgive me if I'm saying your names wrong, I'm going to try really hard. We have Tallulah Walker, Aaron Van Dunn, Aubrey Rolandelli, and Rowan Capozzi. Did I do okay? Yes, sort of? It's not. Sort of?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, am I right? Yes? Okay, so they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please rise. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great job. Thanks, guys. Okay, Brian, are there any communications for the board this evening?
There were none.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
I'd like to ask Mr. Ayers to come to the podium to tell us all the awesome stuff that's been going on at Jefferson this school year.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Today we're here with 2 of our 5th grade teachers, a couple of our 5th grade, well, 4 of our 5th grade students. We're going to talk a little bit about the pilot program that Jefferson is doing with departmentalization. So, you know, just the nature of having 4 elementary schools, 1 middle, 1 high, we've always talked about how can we best transition our 5th graders to middle school. So last year, our 5th grade team worked with district administration, the 6th grade teachers, where they actually would come down and watch some of the lessons that were happening in 5th grade. They would have discussions at professional development sessions and just really kind of talk about what we can do to just help our kids with that transition. So this year, it's something the teachers have been asking for, and they were looking for volunteers to pilot a departmentalization in 5th grade, and our teachers were very excited to do that. So I'm going to turn over to Ms. Brittany Shelley, Ms. Natalie Duran. They're going to talk about their experiences, you know, doing it this year, some of the trials that they had to work through, but it really has been, and you'll hear in a few moments, a popular program with the kids, and you know they feel they're prepared for middle school.
Awesome.
Ladies?
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Brittany Shelley, and I teach ELA for the 5th grade class this year. And we are so excited to have everyone here tonight at Jefferson and showcase our 5th grade class, as well as highlight how we're bridging our final year of elementary school to the middle school. Today, we want to talk about an exciting and important transition that our 5th graders are about to embark on, the transition to middle school. This is a pivotal moment in their educational journey, and it is crucial that we take the steps to ensure that they feel supported, prepared, and enthusiastic about what lies ahead. One of the key strategies we've implemented this year is fostering a collaborative relationship between our 5th grade and middle school teachers. By observing and partnering with these educators, we can gain valuable insights into the academic expectations and teaching methods that our students will encounter. Through this partnership, we have been able to adjust and adapt our teaching in order to set the students up for success. This collaboration will help us align our curriculum to better prepare our students for the challenges that they may face in middle school.
Good evening. My name is Natalie Duran. I teach math, science, and social studies. So another strategy that we've implemented here at Jefferson School is departmentalization amongst the 5th grade teachers. Students switch between 2 teachers, ELA and math, and this has been exciting not only for the students, but the teachers as well. By departmentalizing, students have the opportunity to experience different subjects with specialized teachers, just like they will in middle school. This approach will not only deepen their understanding of each subject, but also helps them adjust to the experience of moving between classes and managing different teachers' expectations. Departmentalize also encourages collaborations among our teachers, allowing them to share the best practices and enrich the learning experience for our students. Here we have some of our students who will share some words about switching classes and departmentalization.
So I asked our 5th grade staff to pick 4 students who they thought would be great representation of Jefferson School, and our 4 students are right here. You're going to be hearing from Aaron, Ronan, Tallulah, and Aubrey, right? And then, so Aaron, you want to come up?
Good evening, Board of Education, parents, and teachers. I was chosen tonight to speak about changing classes. The reason I like changing classes is I like the movement, I like switching, and it makes the day more exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ronan Kapazi. My opinion on switching teachers is that I like being exposed to different teaching techniques. This exposes us to new ideas which help us stay engaged and more interested in what we are learning. This has allowed me and my classmates to discover our ability to learn in different ways, as well as empower us to adapt to different learning environments. Not only that, our teachers excel at what they do, which makes it much easier to thrive in the classroom. There is no doubt they work hard to use different methods and tools to reach each and every one of us. I feel honored to be here, and thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Tallulah Walker, and I'm a 5th grader here at Jefferson. I'm here to talk about the pilot program I've been in this year, where we switched between 2 teachers for different subjects. I like the program. I think it's been a good experience for me. One of the biggest things it's helped me with is keeping track of my stuff and making sure I don't forget things. Since we switched back and forth between classrooms, I've had to get better at being organized and more responsible with my items. I think it's really important because in middle school next year, I'll have even more classes, more teachers, and more things to manage. This program feels like a good step toward getting ready for that. I feel more prepared and more confident for 6th grade because of this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be speaking. I'm here to say my opinion on switching classes throughout the day. I think it is a great experience for us 5th graders because of 2 reasons. One is that I feel that the change of scenery is good for our minds and relaxes our brains for better learning. The second reason is that I and many others like having 2 teachers and having 2 different people with 2 different personalities. This makes us students more comfortable because we feel like we can talk to our teachers based on our problems. I think switching is a great opportunity and very preparing for us 5th graders. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, everybody. So, obviously there's details to work out. We'll see what the future holds. Some schools have challenges in regards to sections and things like that. But overall, the experience has been great, and it's they have bins that we got them book bins that they keep their stuff in, so they walk with their bins from class to class to help with the organization piece. But when we were talking about this and planning, that seemed to be a common theme, that they liked the idea that they had to be organized, because are they allowed to go back and get stuff if they forget? Okay. All right. So depending what happens, you're either with it or without it. So. Okay. Right. So overall, it's been great, and I really want to commend Ms. Shelley and Ms. Duran. They've really worked hard, and we have two excellent teachers here that are leading this pilot. And overall, we think it's been very successful.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayers.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think Mr. Ayers and I are sort of the dinosaurs here, but I remember this is my 15th straight year at the elementary level in this district, my last year at Washington School, and years ago, we used to switch classes. Yeah.
So, Milo and Trevor, did you guys switch?
You did it,
So
okay.
there was a time.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking eons ago, where we did it from second to fifth.
Yes.
So there
Oh,
was a
that
time.
I don't know, but fifth.
That's how we did do it. And then there were some challenges with depending on the size of a particular year that kind of we put it aside. But we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I just think it's great, Mr. Ayers, that you're taking this initiative. Your teachers piloted this program because as a board, we worked very hard to have like a better transitional plan for our fifth graders, adding the executive functioning class at the sixth grade level, working with the middle school that way. So we've really taken the time as a district to put a lot of steps in to ensure that their transition is easier and that they're more comfortable. And I love that they're doing this. I think it's amazing. Yeah,
and what I understand is from the sixth grade staff is it was a bit of an eye opener for them as well to see what actually our fifth graders are doing to help them once they get to the middle school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Commend and thank all of you for taking this initiative. It's great. And thank you guys, because it's very brave to come up and speak on a microphone in front of a camera and in front of strangers. So you guys did an amazing job. Congratulations.
Boys and girls, do you want to come up real quick? We have a little something for you, okay?
And parents, if you just want to stick around with them to take a picture in a few minutes, we're going to honor our Eagle Scouts, and then we'll do pictures, and then we'll let everyone go before we do all the boring stuff. So they don't have to sit here the whole night.
Now I have the privilege of introducing Milo Ruggiero and Trevor Mesha. If they could come up to the microphone and talk about their experience earning their Eagle Scout badges.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Milo. This is Trevor, and we're just here to talk about our Eagle Scout projects. So, you got it? Well, anyway, I'll begin with, so Cub Scouts. So me and Trevor have obviously been a part of this program for a very long time. Obviously, there's a picture here of us from 2015. We went through all the ranks of Weeblos and all the younger ones and transferred over to Boy Scouts. And so Eagle Scout has been a long-time goal of ours, both. And so we just want to talk about some things we did along the way, like funding and just the construction. Well, so for starters, we did actually have to raise some funds for this project. So we did talk with the Rotary Club and communicated with them and got myself in front of the board and talked to them about what our project was. And so I did 2 3-bin composting systems, which I constructed with me and my peers. And we talked to Rotary about this and managed to raise some funds, as well as a GoFundMe, where we also raised the rest of our funds. And here you can see some of my friends in the picture. And it was definitely a group effort. I helped to lead them to a place that was special to me, which was the Environmental Center in Roseland, which I've been there a long part of my life. I had a birthday party there when I was in like 2nd grade or something. So I've been involved there, here and there, and so I really wanted to give back to that community. And previous Eagle Scout, like 10 years ago, actually made the same construction as me, but it needed some repairs, and a new replacement. So I constructed these 2 3-bin composting systems, which helped the environment a bunch and just helped the community center. Yeah, and that's David Alexander on the left, and basically he was my coordinator, and I did everything through him, and he gave me the go-ahead to construct the project, and I couldn't have done anything without him, so he was a huge help. Couldn't have done anything without Mr. Corwright either, a Scoutmaster, helped me a lot along the way, so special thanks to him.
For my project, kind of the same type of idea that Mile had. I live right next to the park, so through my entire life I've been at the fishing derbies and around the park, and I noticed that the pond house did not have any tables for themselves. They were carrying heavy tables from the playground house all the way down to the pond house and back and forth. So I asked them if they wanted tables for the pond house where they can hold meetings. They said absolutely. But the strange thing about these tables is they wanted them to be able to fit through doors. So I don't know if you can see on the picture, but they're very odd shaped. They're kid-sized and they're very narrow. So I went through the whole thing with Milo as well. I went through David Alexander. This is a county park, so I went through the county as well. Got all signs off, and that took about a year going through the Conservancy, the county, and then we finally got plans up and started building. The first table, we realized right away that we actually had the measurements wrong. So we built the whole first table and it was wrong completely. So right there on the spot, we had to recut. Thankfully, it was long. It was long and not short, so we could recut the wood without having to go get more. But that was just some on-spot changes that we had to make. And then after we got the first table done, we got the other 3 up and going very, very easily. Just another building picture that we had. And then this is all happened the first day. The second day was sanding and finishing. I think there's an image of the finished product. So this is the finishing, and then the next slide has this finished product on the tables. I know that they have used them. I know that they work. They're steady, and they're not too heavy, which is good, which is what they wanted. So thank you, guys.
Great. Well, I just want to say that Andy Brown invited the board to come in January to the Eagle Scout ceremony, and I will say, like, as the many years I've been on the board, I can't remember being invited. Andy swears. Greg's like, you've been invited. I'm like, okay, Greg, I believe you, but I don't. So anyway, we went, and I will say, Terry, Danielle, and I went. It was a Saturday morning, and I was not prepared for the heaviness of the ceremony. I'm going to say that. It was one of the most beautiful things I have ever been to. My boys are not scouts, but it was really, what a spectacular event. And to look at what Milo and Trevor have accomplished, I'm sorry it took so long for us from then to now to get you in here, but you really are the epitome of leaders for our young students to look up to, and it really is an honor to serve on a board. It's moments like this to watch you accomplish what you've accomplished, where it's just so proud, and it's so rewarding to honor you this evening. You're very well deserved of the accolades you've received, of what we're doing here tonight, what you've been through, and you're going to do wonderful things in this world. You truly are citizens of the world. So we just wish you all the best, and we're so proud that you're a part of our school district. And so we're going to let's give them a round of applause. Yes, and so we have certificates for you. So we're going to, if you guys can hang on, we're going to take a quick picture with Trevor and Milo with their certificates, and then we're going to take a picture with you guys, and then everybody can go home and they don't have to listen to the boring stuff anymore. from church, but I was always like, did I call her the wrong name? Like, anyway, so this is Audrey, not Aubrey, so I want to put that on record, and you did a wonderful job today. Okay? Thank you all so much. Everybody go home and do your homework. Maybe you have no homework.
Oh, are those boys in your group?
Yeah, they're in my grade. Yeah. I know. I'm friends with them.
You are?
Yeah.
Aw. Cute.
Yeah. It's good that they stuck with it because, like, when COVID happened, like, scouts took, like, such a bad turn. So many people left.
Chris,
like,
do you
it
have
was-
anything else or no?
Like how many kids started out in like Scouts and Boy
All right, we're
Scouts.
going to move on with the rest of the meeting. This is a voting meeting. So Dr. Conklin, do you have anything else for super? Okay. Do we have any committee reports this evening? No? Okay. So Brian, we're going to move on to the approval of minutes.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and Brian, if you could please take the roll.
Yes, Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Diambola,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Okay, we're going to move on to public comments on agenda items only right now. I'm going to remind everyone that public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes in duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or a cross-examination between the public and individual members. Be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or his designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, and or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. So does anybody wish to get up about agenda items only at this time? Liz?
Hi, Liz Hart, 149 Ravine Ave.
Hi, Liz.
I just have a quick question on the field trips. Which budget line item is the field trips allocated from?
There's district level field trip budgets and then there's school level field trip budgets, so it's in 2 different budget lines.
Okay, so it's like the co-curricular.
Some of it's under transportation and depends on really what the trip is. So there might be a large trip that's on the district budget. There might be a smaller trip that's run out of the school. Sometimes the HSA also provides additional funding for that, so that's a different budget line that has to be brought into the budget for them to supplement some of that. So there's all different budget lines. The school has some and the district has some.
So if it's like a sports activity, then that's funded by the sports budget line
Right,
item?
that's a field trip for the sports, right. That
Okay,
comes
and then
out
if
of
it's
right.
school specific, then it's
Yes.
designated from
So
the
second
specific
grade
school.
Jefferson, put budget line in for that, but let's say the 5th graders are going, the whole 5th grade is going someplace throughout the district, then that might be something that's done through the Director of Curriculum and Instruction because it's specific to something that's going on district-wide. So it really depends on what the field trip is for and who brings the field trip up.
Okay, so sports would come from sports, and then the middle school music trip that they do annually to
Yes.
Great Adventure, whatever, that comes from the middle school budget or from the...
If it's music, it usually comes from the arts budget, if it's specific for music, because it might not be just specific to the middle school. So again, as I said, depending on what the field trip is what budget line it comes out of.
Okay, I have a question that's like tangentially related, but not specifically maybe public comment. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay, so a lot of times it comes up that, the costs are high because of transportation, and I feel like this is like a recurring theme where transportation costs are so high. So is that being factored into the 25-26 budget that
Yes.
transportation is likely
We
going to.
recognize that there's going to be a 10 to 20% increase in transportation costs, so we factor that into any field trips. That's why we try to like review the field trips, and we approve so many field trips.
Right.
So that way, if something is cost prohibitive, we try to provide an alternative to that field trip that's less expensive.
Okay, but also still factoring in higher costs.
Always
for the
factor in
trip.
higher costs.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yep. And just a reminder, and Dr. Conklin, like, please interrupt me if I'm saying something that's not true, but just a reminder that if a field trip going on your concerns, Liz, is like, seems too much for a family, they should always, please, we strongly encourage them to reach out to their building principal, because there is ways for the district to help them so that all children can experience it. So just a reminder, anyone watching tonight, like, please don't be embarrassed. That's all confidential. It's not shared. It's strictly between that family and the school administration. So please feel free to reach out. That's what your building administrator is there to do.
Reach
is
out
make
to your
sure-
building administrator, or reach out to your child's guidance counselor. We do have funds set aside specifically to support families if they're unable to attend specific, not only field trips, but other activities, dances, simple things like pizza for the week, all those things, there's money set aside specifically to support families who may be in need.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything on the agenda right now? Okay. All right, we're going to move on to vote. So we're going to start with curriculum and technology.
Wonderful. And thanks, Liz, for actually bringing that up about the field trips, because there are a lot on there, and
Yeah,
it's so
there's a lot.
exciting to see. And we know a lot of work goes into them, so definitely folks should write those dates down. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through I under curriculum and technology on this evening's agenda.
And before I ask for a second, are there any discussions about any of the items? Nope. No? Okay, then can we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Brian, can you take the roll?
Yes. Ms. DiMartini?
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Diambola?
Yes.
Ms. Grosso?
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Okay, personnel?
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, a motion to approve items A through N under certificated staff and items A and B under non-certificated staff in personnel on this evening's agenda.
Okay, and any discussion? Okay, I just want to say, as far as retirements, with regret, we have 3 long-standing teachers at James Caldwell High School, Ms. Holman, Mr. Birnbaum, and Ms. Kyle, who are all retiring, and Marianne Rivera, our nurse here in district, who has been here forever. She's always such a comforting presence and face, and they're all retiring, so it's like 4, I want to say dinosaurs, but I mean that with love, leaving us. So with regret, we're going to accept their retirements this evening. So can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Great. Brian, can you take the roll?
Yes. Ms. DiMartini?
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Diambola?
Yes.
Ms. Grosso?
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Great. Finance and facilities.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motions to approve items A through I under finance and item A under facilities on this evening's agenda.
That's great. Any discussion amongst the board? Nope. Okay, I'm going to just draw attention to the shared service agreement between the Board of Education and the West Caldwell Town Council for the lawn cutting agreement, which is a cost savings, enormous cost savings to the district, and want to express our gratitude to the Township of West Caldwell for continuing to find ways to share services with the district and partner so that we can put more of our money back into helping our students and less into annoying things like cutting grass. That's what our shared services meetings that we have quarterly with both the townships of Caldwell and West Caldwell are for. And I can say truthfully that both townships are very generous in trying to find ways to help support the school district. And tonight it's with great pleasure and gratitude that we accept this agenda, this agreement rather. Brian, can I have a second first, please?
I'll second it.
Great. And Brian, can you take the roll?
Yes. Ms. DiMartini?
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Diambola?
Yes.
Ms. Grosso?
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Fantastic. Okay, anything for policy? See, no policy, great. So we're going to move back to now public comments on anything off the agenda. Again, public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or a cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to the public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or his designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, and/or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. With that being said, would anyone like to get up? Ken.
My name is Ken Jurgensen. I live on Ravine Avenue in Caldwell, and I'm a Caldwell councilman, but tonight I'm here, just to be clear, I'm here as a private citizen. When I first heard about the artificial turf proposed for Grover Cleveland Middle School, I guess it was around 2 months ago. And when I first heard the idea, I said, oh, this is great, because I see artificial turf fields going in all over. But after I did some research, I learned about the health risks, environmental impact, and long-term costs of artificial turf. And I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to speak to all the members of the Board of Education about what I learned, and I wanted to say it face to face. What I've learned is that all artificial turf contains PFAS. PFAS are otherwise known as forever chemicals because they don't break down over a long period of time. And when I read the environmental impact study by the Colliers Engineering, it didn't mention the PFAS in the report. When I spoke before the West Caldwell during the hearing, I suggested that the report might be edited so that PFAS could be specifically addressed in the report. The other thing that I didn't see in there was about microplastics. And what I learned about the artificial turf is that the individual fibers shed. They continually shed over the life of the artificial turf. And the tips of the fibers break off. And because those tips have PFAS in them, they can get into the water, into our rivers, into our streams. And to me, that poses a health hazard. The other thing that I got out of the Colliers engineering report is that the infill that's used to hold the fibers up is going to be cryogenic pellets, which is pulverized used tires. And this type of infill, or the pulverized tires, has carcinogenic chemicals in it. So that's another health hazard. Now, in fairness to the manufacturer of the turf, they do offer other types of infill that's more environmentally friendly. And that might be something that you might consider if you get the funding from Green Acres and the project goes forward. The other thing I learned about artificial turf is that many of the manufacturers claim that it's recyclable, but there isn't a plant in the United States yet that's able to recycle these artificial turf. So they may include things in their literature that says, oh, we can recycle this, but what mostly happens is it ends up going to a landfill, or they roll it up and put it on their own property, waiting for this plant someday to be built. The other thing I learned about it is that the artificial turf gets really hot in the summer, and the temperature can be 37 degrees higher than asphalt. It can be 86 degrees hotter than natural turf. And the other thing I wanted to make you aware of is that the EPA and the NJDEP have both issued warnings about PFAS. And in New Jersey, they've enacted legislation to reduce the amount of PFAS in our drinking water. And Essex Fells is currently in the middle of a project to install carbon filters on all 23 of their wells. So Caldwell residents get their water from Essex Fells, as does Roseland and North Caldwell, I think, as well. And so we're spending $9.5 million, which all of us taxpayers are eventually going to pay for on our water and sewer bills, to take the PFAS out. And that's what's so crazy to me. We're going to take them out over here, and then put a big field of them in over here. And I'm worried that the groundwater will get contaminated. Because there have been studies done which show that the properties that are around a artificial turf field, the studies have shown that the PFAS levels increase. Now, in fairness, and so that you know that I'm open-minded about this, the EPA is currently studying whether or not PFAS leach out of the fibers in artificial turf, but they haven't reached a conclusion yet. These tests take a long time, and so they haven't made a ruling. The other thing that I learned is that voters in Scotch Plains and Westfield, when they were faced with this same thing, the voters demanded a referendum, and the voters voted it down. So 2 towns have voted not to go in this direction. There's also pending legislation in New Jersey. It hasn't been passed yet. One of the bills would ban the installation of new turf fields on public properties, and the other would demand that when the turf wears out, it has to be removed. That's all part of one bill. But just to show the consistency of where this whole issue with PFAS is going, New Jersey is also considering legislation to ban PFAS in cooking utensils, in food packaging, in clothing, carpeting, fabric, cosmetics. And there are over 2,000 different PFAS. And each one of these PFAS eventually is going to have to be tested by the EPA and the DEP to find out what its health effects are. But it just shows me that the handwriting's on the wall about that. And I'd just like to conclude by saying that I think you have a real opportunity here. You have an opportunity to lead and consider going in another direction. I'm not criticizing anybody who's put artificial turf down before, because up to 2 months ago, I thought it was great too. My kids played through the rec programs. I had to deal with the muddy fields. You know, that was 20 years ago, and nothing much has changed. And let's see. The other thing I wanted to say, and it's the last thing I promise, is that the Collier study indicated that the cost savings for putting the turf in would be $20,000 a year in maintenance costs. But when you consider the initial cost of the turf, it's $1.6 million of this $5 million project. If you divide the $20,000 into the $1.6 million, we'll never get the payback before you have to replace the turf in 8 to 20 years. And that's the other thing that bothers me fiscally, because this cost is going to keep repeating itself. So within 20 years, you're going to have to spend another $600,000 to replace the turf. And I'm not even taking into account the interest on the bonds that might have to be taken to fund it. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Liz? Yeah. Oh.
Thank you, and I just wanted to, before I start, thank you for all of your service. I know how much time and effort goes into this. I'm a former teacher.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Ann Marchione, 85 Brookside Avenue, Caldwell, New Jersey, and I'm co-chair of Caldwell's Environmental Commission. Okay, the Caldwell Environmental Commission is opposed to the turf field at the Grover Cleveland Middle School for the following reasons. Artificial turf is found to contain high levels of lead, arsenic, cadmium, chromium, mercury, and several dangerous hydrocarbons with potential toxicity to children and athletes. Older students have been shown to have a connection to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and blood cancers. The commonality was years of playing on artificial turf. PFOAs have been found in the turf. They are associated with cancer as well as growth, learning, and behavior problems in children. Middle school children are still maturing. PFOA leaches into the water supply from artificial turf. Caldwell's water supplier, Essex Fells Water Company, has just recently spent $9.5 million on carbon filters to remove PFOAs from the drinking water, artesian wells. And I know that West Caldwell does not receive their water from this company. Our summers in this area have become hotter. The artificial turf traps heat, causing possible blisters, dehydration, and heat stroke. NFL players advocate for natural grass on their playing fields. The FIFA World Soccer Cup requires grass playing fields. And I'm quoting from this a group called Beyond Pesticides. Now, this is just a precaution, okay? Beyond surface cleaning, the artificial turf should be sanitized weekly or monthly to protect the players' and coaches' health. This disinfection requires special solvents, cleansers, and antimicrobial products to remove invisible particles and bacterial growth. You should strive to sanitize the field after every game and throughout the school if it's used for phys ed classes. So to me, I thought, wow, that's a lot. But that's a precaution for everybody. And Senator Raj Mujeri of Hudson County has sponsored an anti-turf bill. Right now, it was introduced in October to the New Jersey State Legislature. It has not come out of committee yet, so that's certainly a way to address all of this for everybody. The artificial turf cannot be recycled. It goes to landfills or is burned. And as a result of this, the Caldwell Environmental Commission has passed a resolution establishing a moratorium on the installation of artificial turf on playing fields. Now that's just the Environmental Commission. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to, for the November election, we're going to try to put a question on the ballot because quite honestly, the folks of Caldwell didn't have any input on this. We really did not have any input, and there was no way except to come to the hearing to voice our concerns. So this will give us, the Environmental Commission, an opportunity. If you have support for turf fields in Caldwell, then the council knows that. And if we don't have support for turf fields in Caldwell, then the council also knows that and would hopefully pass a moratorium. I think we felt that was a reasonable way to look at this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. Liz, you want to come on up? Sure.
This podium's like messing me up. Okay, Liz Hart, 149 Ravine. So I'm here to ask a question about what the process is for charging tickets for the various events that are held by the schools. So I really don't understand the process and why certain events charge and certain ones don't. So I know from sports, I believe football does charge sometimes and maybe basketball, but then they don't charge for track or maybe soccer, right? And then for the music and arts, for regular band concerts, they don't charge tickets, right, to attend, your child's concert. But then this past weekend for the music marathon, which was basically a culmination of all of that, there was a charge. There's obviously charges for all of the theatrical productions at both the middle and the high school. And so I'm really just trying to understand why, one, certain events are charged and others aren't, and then who determines the cost, right? Because the cost is kind of high. In my opinion, I am a theater mom, and I'm also the Music and More Booster Club treasurer, and so I see the cost of those tickets, but they don't come back to the booster clubs, they go to the district as revenue, and so I'm having a difficult time wrapping my head around why that is.
Yes. I'm going to pass it to Brian.
Oh, want me to answer?
Yeah,
Or Dr. Conklin, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay, that's all right. Liz, if you could just email me, we could sit down and go through them all. There's a lot of different reasons. Each one has its own unique reason why we may or may not charge for certain activities in terms of sports or in terms of the arts. So if you could just give me a call, I'm happy to kind of walk you through each one of those questions, because you asked a lot of questions. Doesn't seem that way, but why do we charge for football but not track? Why do we charge for the music marathon and play but not a musical performance? So there's a lot to unpack there, so I'm happy to kind of work with you and sit down and kind of go through each one of those different scenarios, if you're okay with that.
Okay, are you able tonight, and if you're not, that's also fine, are you able to confirm whether it's the district or like the athletic director or whomever or the school that
again,
sets the price?
It's individually different depending on what it is. So it could be the department is doing this because they're doing a fundraiser for something particular. It's because it's very expensive to get certain things, so they want to do this. Or we're collecting money, so we're charging extra at the door for the football game because we're donating all that money back to the ambulance service or something
and
like that.
that's great.
So each one of those, and that's why I'm saying there's no real specific answer to all of that. I could kind of go through each one with you individually so you could understand the different reasons why we collect money for some but not for others, and why one may cost more than the other one may cost more, because there's different reasons we're collecting that money.
Okay, so, and you just kind of brought up something that made me think of another thing. So I know for football, right, there are some evenings, I think there's one night where the ticket sales do go to the West Essex Volunteer Squad, right? And that is great and wonderful. And that's ticket sales, right, revenue, right? Because you're already accounting for the expenses as, excuse me, as part of your annual budget, right? So for what I specifically follow, right, and what I'm more educated on is in the music and the arts, where the ticket sales, there is no donation towards anything, right? So that, to me, it would be great if we could say, hey, we ran the music marathon this past weekend, and all of those ticket sales go to offset X that is related to music.
Again,
and
that's what I'm saying. Some of that does happen that way. So they're taking a special trip, and the symphony's going here. So that money collected from Music Marathon helps offset the transportation costs that are cost prohibitive for certain families. So all of that is, that's what I'm saying. There's no specific thing I could say, this money comes here, but it stays in the district. None of the money that we collect goes to booster clubs, goes to the sports boosters. It all stays within the district and goes to student activities.
I just want to clarify or correct you just really quickly there. The Music and More Booster Club actually donated over $500 to help offset the transportation costs for that.
Right, and the Football Booster Club donates thousands of dollars to offset the cost for buying new equipment. So each booster club does that. It's independent of, it's kind of like an HSA, but it's specific for music. They have that. That's how those they're basically friends of the district. So that's how the HSA works. That's how the Music and More works. That's how all the sports booster clubs work. They donate money, particularly for some sort of activity. So
right. No, I just wanted to clarify. Right. There weren't any ticket sales that helped to offset that cost. No, that was actually the Music and More Booster Club that did.
The ticket sales do then go to other activities for student activities.
Okay, I was informed that they go to offset revenue, or it's recorded as revenue, and not to offset expenses.
It has to be recorded as revenue, and then it goes into the budget. But we can't make a profit. School districts are nonprofit, so whatever comes in gets put into the budget and then spent.
Okay, I'm still not clear, but I'm definitely going to reach out to you to get specific details, because I feel like as a community, and Mrs. Grosso, you mentioned this last week about how we're really trying to drive participation. And again, I'm slightly biased, right, because my child is involved in theater, and when I feel like ticket sales potentially are cost prohibitive and it's not even going back to those students, it just makes me feel sad, and that's pretty much where I'll leave it. Thank you so
I'm
much for
happy
your
to
time.
walk you through it, Liz.
Okay.
But just understand, the money does go back to student activities. So it does go back to the students. They don't get a check. We don't write them a check for their performance, but it does go back to fund those performances.
Okay, that's definitely not what I was informed, so I appreciate you clarifying that.
Absolutely.
So, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Liz, thank you. And I think like we're definitely in agreement with you. I can honestly say, and we had this discussion, I think I spent over $200 on tickets for the High School Musical, which I think is absolutely insane. And it saddens my heart just personally that there's not more student audience members. And sometimes I think when the cost is $10 for a high school kid, they'd rather go to Starbucks and buy a venti drink than go sit and watch their peers. So I definitely think we have a lot of work to do as a school district to increase participation, you know, and to make things a little bit more affordable, especially in a world where things seem to be completely unaffordable, like eggs. So yeah, we definitely have some work to do, but please, like I know Dr. Conklin will be more than happy to take you through that, so please reach out. And before, anybody else want to get up before we start to conclude, or? No? Okay. Before I ask for a motion to go into executive session, I just want to thank Councilman Jurgensen and Ann, you for coming. Especially, I just want to also particularly take a moment to thank the Caldwell Environmental Commission, because I know you sponsor the Shredded events for the Scholarship Committee, and you have been such a wonderful partner. Yes, thank you. It's May 3rd, May 3rd. And you really are such a champion for the environment. So I really just on behalf of the board, thank you. And thank you for voicing your concerns. I also just want to make it very, very clear that this project for the turf field is not a Board of Education initiative like the referendum was. This is a West Caldwell Town Council initiative. So that whole Green Acres hearing that was done by the council is because they are the ones going out for the funding. They're the ones who are going to be paying for the project. So I'm very glad that you both came to express it. It is our property, but it really is just for the public's clarification that that is their project and their funding and not ours. So just our relation to the project is going to be, if it moves forward, which to my understanding will be only if they receive this Green Acres funding. If it moves forward, then that would be a shared service agreement between the board and them to give them usage of the field. So we hear you, listen, thank you so much for sharing all that, but I just want to make it clear for anyone watching, because we just went through a lot of gray area with the referendum. Like, the turf field's part of the referendum, but it was not, and the question one that passed had nothing to do with the turf field. So just in case, just to make sure that everyone watching is educated about that. So, but thank you both for coming, and thank you, Ann, for everything you do for our students. That being said, can I have a motion to end public session at 7:57 p.m. and enter back into executive?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Brian, can you take the roll?
Yes, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Take care. Have a good night.